A New Orleans landmark turned 40, the Big 4-0 today.
Yeah, the Superdome has made it to middle age. It opened August 3rd, 1975. During that 4 decades, it has served as home to many historical events. Of course, it's been the home of the Saints for several decades, but it's also hosted memorable events like the visit of Pope John Paul II. Also, Muhammad Ali fought there, and of course, the famous Rolling Stones concert. It has been the venue for 7 Super Bowls. And no one will ever forget that during Hurricane Katrina, it served as a shelter of last resort for tens of thousands during the storm. So a big happy birthday to the Superdome. It's been through a lot. It's come back from a lot. And one of my, two of my top memories in my life at the Dome reopening, which I don't think anything will ever top that. And when Garrett Hartley kicked the Saints into the Super Bowl, easily the top 2 for me at the Dome.
You were talking about the decibel level after the reopening.
Oh, I think that was louder than when Garrett Hartley made the kick to go to the Super Bowl, because it was just such a moment, and it was emotional, and everybody was in there, and everything came together at once, and eardrums just vibrated and rattled.
Well, there you go.
Fletcher was there.
40 years.
We'll see him in a second. It was amazing.
Coming up, imagine going for a run every day for 45 years. We'll introduce you to such a man and what he says keeps him going.
And it's all football all night. We'll talk about Saints first-round draft pick Andrus Peat and former black and gold great Morton Anderson. Plus, we'll head up to Baton Rouge and check in with the Southern Jaguars, who started football practice today. Good evening, everyone. I'm Fletcher Mackel, and it was a bit of a head-scratcher when the Saints drafted offensive tackle Andrus Peat in the first round last May. Of all the areas where the Saints had needs, offensive tackle wasn't one of them. The team seems set for at least this season with Teron Armstead and Zach Strief. So barring injury, the former Stanford Cardinal will probably get a redshirt year. He could then replace Strief in 2016. For more on Pete and his first training camp experience, let's head up to the Greenbrier Resort for a report from my colleague, sports anchor Sharif Ishak.
The Saints needed to get better along the offensive line. Of course, they got Max Unger in the trade for Jimmy Graham. They also spent their 13th overall pick in the NFL draft on Andrus Peat. Now, he was struggling in the spring because he missed most of the workouts since he was getting his degree from Stanford. But now, Pete feels like he's in better condition and catching on to the playbook.
I think I'm doing some good things, and definitely have a lot more improving to do. And, each day I'm just trying to come out and focus on my technique and, the little things to help me out in the long run.
Transitioning from college to the NFL is never easy. It's even tougher for offensive linemen, and for a guy like Pete, he still has his rough patches at practice, so offensive line coach Brett Ingles has to make sure to help his left tackle come back from any bad moments.
We're emphasizing what's right, and then obviously working on what's wrong. And so I think even on those reps where you might say, well, he's getting beat around the edge or something, that no, there's something positive happening. He just needs more reps.
Coach Payton said it the other day, move on to the next play. And that's kind of the mentality that I have to have. If I get beat or if I have a bad rep, I can't, think about that and dwell on that.
The guy he's playing behind and learning from is Zach Strief, who says he's ready to help in any way possible because he feels the 21-year-old will be very good one day.
More than anything, I want to make sure that he understands that I'm willing to help him. I'm willing to do the things regardless of whether that is hurting me. The expectations for him are going to be higher, but the time to judge him is down the road, and I think he's going to work hard for us.
Every time I'm going and taking a rep, he's watching my technique and kind of critiquing it, and whatever he sees, he's telling me if I do it wrong, how to do it the right way.
And yes, the offensive linemen are helping, but it doesn't stop there. Pete says going against some of the best defensive linemen like Cam Jordan and Anthony Spencer is definitely helping him, even if he's making mistakes. On your side in West Virginia, Sharif Ishak, WDSU News.
Saints great Morton Anderson was at the Greenbrier Resort in West Virginia today because Sean Payton announced he'll be part of the Saints' prestigious Ring of Honor. A native of Copenhagen, Denmark, Anderson spent 26 seasons in the NFL, half of that with the Saints. He's the team's all-time leading scorer, and he holds close to a dozen other NFL records. Today, Morton was asked what he loves most about New Orleans.
There was God, family, and the Saints. And it still is like that. And so to me, what makes being a Saint and being in New Orleans special is it's the people and the intensity of the experience with those people.
The Southern Jaguars started football practice today in Baton Rouge, coming off a nice 9-4 overall season. Coach Dawson Odoms believes 2015 could be very special for his team, and the players agree. They're also excited to be back on the field with the pads on.
Coach told me he was going to give us a speech, please don't hurt nobody. And I understand that. I'm going to definitely practice smart, but at the same time, I'm going to be very physical out there. I haven't touched nobody, haven't hit another opponent, haven't anybody since December, so I'm just itching to catch a body.
The Zephyrs on the road falling to the Oklahoma City Dodgers. The final score, 7-6. I thought his sound was pretty funny. I'm excited to catch a body, get back on the football field. So all the college teams will start this week. We'll hear from Tulane and Coach Curtis Johnson tomorrow, and then the LSU Tigers later this week.
It's about that time.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Fletch.
We'll be right back.